Greetings, one and all, from the White Mountains of Arizona. We are in between thunderstorms right now in the afternoon, so we're going to sneak out and do a quick channeling for all of you. Hopefully we don't get rained on. I apologize for any wind noise, but we're going to be in a little tucked away corner over here, hopefully out of the wind. Today we're going to be talking about astrology. If you've been following along with our series, we've had some interesting channelings about space, about the black cube matrix, and those channelings got me to thinking, got me to wondering if space isn't exactly real in the way we think of it. It's all part of the existence in this black cube matrix, this simulation. If space isn't real, does that mean astrology is not really what we think it is? I don't know. I have questions. That's what we're here to do, is ask questions, see what kind of answers we get. So I know this might be triggering for people who are fans of astrology. I don't know what we're going to uncover here today, but I just ask that you follow through with an open mind, without ego. Maybe go check out our space channelings to give you more context. Definitely our black cube channeling. And I see all sorts of images in these clouds.
Okay.
All right, let's see who Tara has connected to. What she got here?
A weird phoenixy looking thing.
What dimensional frequency is it in?
11th dimension.
Okay, so well outside the cube.
Yeah.
Why has it come to talk with us about astrology?
They said because astrology is based on star placement and planetary alignment within the cube matrix. And they said that they are at least somewhat familiar with how the matrix was constructed, at least some of the design.
Okay, so they had a part in designing this cube?
We had a part in the early formative years, you might say, of the cube. Once consciousness became aware of itself, we are in charge of scientific study, creating playtime, you might say, for the cube and to study it, uploading new programs and studying how the being responds.
So you're studying 3D to help yourself out in 11D?
We have a curiosity in consciousness creation, or trying to understand if it is consciousness we are creating. This experiment took place long ago, before humans, before other inhabitants, when it was a void, someone's creation unknown, but we were in charge of trying to construct the consciousness and the subsequent programs for playtime.
All right. So where I'm at is, on the surface, it would seem like to me that the planets and their alignment kind of determines a person's energy when they come into this cube matrix. Can you speak on the validity of that and what's going on there?
Yes, whenever consciousness enters the cube matrix, there is a energy signature of that being. It is like a cataloging of the matrix itself, cataloging the unique identity signature when soul is combined with vessel, whatever that vessel may be. And when the two are joined as one, unable to distinguish one half from the other, then a complete being is born, you might say. And so, as these beings come in, humans might look to the stars at this astrology and look at the energy signature and try to understand the self. The matrix looks at that signature and it is cataloged that this being is current in this current timeline, currently within the box, the cube. But humans might see it as trying to understand who they are as the whole, when truly it only represents most or partially the whole, depending on which half you are looking at it with.
So, does the ego, personality, and just kind of the energy of the soul, when it enters into the cube, is predetermined, and the planets reflect that energy, or do the planets create the personality and
It is a mixture. So, personality is determined on point of view. You might say that you're speaking in Western astrological terms. You might say, I am a Leo, but that could be only one half. This is your ego identity. This is why there can be a blanket statement that covers so many different beings with so many unique energy signatures and souls who all seem to have this trait and that trait and this trait of what might be identified as a Leo. But this is the, you might see, shared matrix program. There are only so many programs to create so many different types of personalities. What is also factored into that personality is one's soul. So when a human comes in, let's say, focusing only on human, no other being, that predetermination is only for their ego half, not for their soul signature, for that creates the outliers in astrology.
Okay, so if I have this straight, the darker side of astrology is it's the way to catalog us and index us and treat us like cattle. But the positive side is that with using our free will, we get to determine who we are.
Simply put, yes.
Okay, so what are the benefits of charting our astrology? What can we learn from it?
It is the first step or first level in trying to understand the self outside of what your parents programmed you to be, your teachers, your society, your innate ego program. You begin looking outside for answers because you find synchronicity in the world. You find things that perhaps don't line up correctly, or perhaps they too perfectly do. And so you begin to question your reality. For this, many have looked to the stars and the planets they see in the sky and say that that must also be me. For as above, so below, there are many that say. And in projecting oneself out into outer space, it seems not so vast, and you create a familiarity so that you do not feel so alone or so out of place in a foreign place.
Okay, what are the dangers or the shadow side of looking into our astrology? How can it hurt us?
The shadow side is just that, looking outside yourself for those answers. I said that that was a positive. It was the first step in acknowledging your own consciousness and trying to find identity. The shadow side is that identity can only be shown to you through an external source, your planets, your stars, your solar happenings.
From my perspective, it would seem kind of limiting to kind of almost box yourself up within parameters set forth by the matrix. Is that not a shadow aspect of looking into astrology?
That could be as well, but you can look at it from a broader sense. If I am looking to the stars and the planets and I'm trying to understand my astrology, perhaps I'm just looking for the blueprint that was given to my own ego in an attempt to understand my ego more fully. And the more I can understand it, and the program and how it was programmed and what it was programmed with, perhaps I also understand why my soul chose this particular ego program.
So to be clear, astrology kind of informs only the ego, not doesn't reflect the higher self in any way.
If you're looking at only logical astrology, as I might say that there are a couple of types of astrology, no matter where you are in the world. Perhaps there is more of the logos astrology, where it is all mathematics and numbers and placements. Everything is definitive. Everything has been written in books. Everything can be calculated, and there isn't an intuition to speak of. There is the other astrology, which understands that there are certain things that align in the sky, certain things that create a form of synchronicity, but also at the same time, it is something that I can look beyond. Who created it? And this is your intuition at work. When you begin to see these charts and the person sitting in front of you, or perhaps you're looking in the mirror after looking at your own chart, you begin to understand the self while also understanding your ego, utilizing intuition.
Okay. I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around space. If it's illusion, fabrication, it's our own making, then looking outside towards space for answers is just like looking at inward to ourselves. So why not just go straight inward?
It just depends on where you are in your consciousness. For some, yes, they can jump right to that conclusion. Others, it might be a journey to that conclusion. This is the human experience.
So was the astrology set up before the current controllers got here, or did they implement this?
This is PreAnunaki. We are PreAnunaki. This is already implemented within the cube matrix to create a catalog system. It wasn't known yet if anything could be placed within the cube. We were, and many were, trying to understand what the cube was, trying different experiments as a being as a whole, instead of looking at it as a tool to use.
Okay, so the best way to describe it is sort of like a Dewey Decimal System for humans. You come into the cube, you get a file. The placement of the solar system at the time of your entry dictates a portion of your ego, and that's kind of your name and number.
Yes, labeling within the box.
So studying astrology is great for those wishing to expand their consciousness, but there comes a point where it's limiting and you need to go further outward, but i.e. inward.
Yes, always going inward. When you realize the planetary alignments, the star placements, the events that happen in outer space, they are just reflections of you. And as you change, so does your outer space change. And you realize that there is nothing that could hold you within a box or within a label. And it becomes your mission then to remove yourself from as many boxes and labels as possible until your ultimate ascendance out of this box.
Okay, I like to ask a question outside the box. In this universe, is authenticity a higher vibration than love?
Love is authenticity.
So it's the same vibration.
Yes,
Which is the highest vibration?
it is the vibration of source.
All right, fascinating channeling. Thank you for speaking with us. It was great to meet you. I love you, and I thank you for coming here to educate us. Do you have any last message for the people before we go?
For those of you that study astrology and have seen your chart, no matter what that chart may look like in the part of the world in which you reside, try to bring that chart inwards. Where is the sun within you in your chart? Where is the moon? Where is Earth? Where is Mars and Mercury? When you begin to realize that you're really just looking at a 3D representation of the soul and the ego within you, then you have much more control over your reality when you realize it was your reality that you've been creating all along, even the planetary alignments and the stars.
Okay, look at some of these rocks. When it rains and all the colors shine brightly, it looks crazy.
A lot of flies out here, my goodness.
Oh no. How are you doing besides that?
Pretty good. Got real hot on that one.
11D.
Yeah, that was it was like a big old fireball bird. It was interesting. It like I don't know, I didn't get any like feeling from it. Like, no, I'm happy or sad, or it's just
Matter of factly.
yeah, just okay, we're just chatting and I'm just being as honest as I can be. It was like, just here you go. So yeah,
do you remember everything? Basically, the stars, when we come into the matrix, are the stars or the solar system kind of dictates our ego personality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like a way for them to catalog us, our specific date and time and place in the cube.
Oh wow.
So it's like a Dewey
barcode.
Decimal System. Yeah, a little barcode.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, all I kept seeing is they were just showing like let's say a soul comes in, but they're showing it like, okay, and then there's a picture that goes into a file, there's a picture that goes into a file. So it was like taking all these pictures of people and, you know, beings as they come in. But yeah, it's interesting. So if it's a catalog system, but it also makes sense to us, I guess, you know, we could employ our intuition, but if we're just looking at it through ego, then you would be like, oh, this makes sense to me. and this is just who I am in my entirety, since it makes sense, and but it's really just your catalog for that ego, or the program for it. I don't know.
I'm confused. Someone in the comment section, like, I'm just behind on this one.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch this.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to rewatch, because I don't know. I don't remember a lot of
Let's
it.
have a discussion
Yeah.
in the comments. What did you guys think of this? If
So-
you follow astrology, if you practice astrology, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, so what do you think the being was trying to say? What does your higher self say about astrology? We'd love to have those discussions. So thank you, by the way, everybody who has given us suggestions for, questions for channelings, or, topics for channeling. Also, everybody who's gone to my website and gotten a personal channeling with me. Those have been freaking fantastic. And so, if you're interested, head over to my website. It's linked down below. And I guess we will catch you guys next Monday.
Another one in the books.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.